Hi there, welcome. How's it going? I'm Kim, for those who haven't met before. Hi, Rosalie. Hi, Jennifer. Good to see you.
This is my first time on any of these calls, so I'm
Excellent.
excited to see what this is all about.
Excellent, excellent. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So today's call is going to be on self-sabotage, tapping circle for self-sabotage. And so we usually start the calls out. Hi, Linda. Good to see you. We start the calls out with a win, like sharing some wins. It doesn't have to be something huge. It can be a little win, and then ask any questions if you have, just about in terms of self-sabotage or anything else. And there'll also be some times for questions at the end of the call. So you can just go ahead and unmute if you like. Okay. Hi, Rosalie. Hi.
Hi, how you going?
Good. Welcome. How are you going with the course? Oh, you're unmuted, Rosalie. How are you going with the course?
Yeah, really well. I've had some big changes. It's amazing how the tapping just can make you, and the going back and finding like those childhood memory things that I didn't even know were there, and then the subconscious like just brings it up, and once you see it, you can't not see it, and then it's kind of you're able to face it, deal with it, and put it behind you, and it's just a massive change. It's amazing.
Excellent. Yeah, that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. And do you have any questions about the course, about anything at all?
Not sure yet.
That's okay. Would anyone else like to share? And does everyone have a pen and paper there? We'll be doing like a short journaling exercise.
Yeah.
Hi,
So
Jennifer.
I've only just started, and I did sort of the 7-day tapathon and got the 6-week course that I just sort of watched the initial thing. And I'm kind of amazed that already I find there are times where I'm able to stop sooner than I normally would when I'm eating, or that I can be like, actually I don't need to have dessert, or it's a little bit mind-blowing. And there's still that element of disbelief of, okay, this is working right now, but how long will it last? And like, there's definitely some of the doubt, but also the excitement that, wow, maybe this will pan out. So.
Yep, excellent. I love that. Good work. Good work. Anybody else have any questions? Any wins they would like to share? Hi, Cheryl Ann. Good to see you. Good to see you, Donna. We can get started then. Cheryl Ann.
Yeah, I was going to share. So I just wanted to, celebrate that I would think that I'm doing Ozempic. Like, I'm just not hungry, and I love that it just keeps getting stronger, and more so than the week or the day before. So just all kinds of, I just feel like it affects so many areas of my life, of just helping me get motivated and doing stuff that have been on my list, and self-care things and stuff like that. So I just, every day I'm amazed and excited to see what's next. So last night I I really want to lean into using it for like smoking, because I know smoking is another thing that I do. and started doing when I lost my husband 3 years ago. So, and also playing a game. I play gin rummy online against people, and I use that, like to just kind of close everything off. And I started, I mean, I played before my husband passed, but it was just like, oh, that was just something that I could mindlessly do. So last night, because I keep on thinking about like using push the food away for, for my game and for smoking as well. And so last night I did some tapping. So I'm glad that we're doing the self-sabotage tonight, because that is literally what I tapped on. I just came in and it's like I just had this feeling of like, gosh, why can't I just stop playing? It's like the same thing about like, why can't I just stop eating? Instead it was just like I've got that part like taken care of. So, so yeah, using it for other things is what I'm really excited about doing now. Like, okay, I did it with food, and I'm still alive, and I can do it with other things as well.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And for the new people, when we do these techniques for something else, for example, like smoking or alcohol, it's the same techniques, okay? And so we can weave that into today's technique also. So, for example, you might crave alcohol or crave a cigarette, and you might use it for emotional drinking, smoking. So for the two things, it's like, oh, I'm smoking because it's a social thing. I remember doing this whenever, and so that you'd scoop out the feelings and then pass that back and forth. And the same thing with alcohol, glass of wine or cocktails or something. And then also you'd use it. So you're like, am I eating emotionally? Am I smoking emotionally or drinking emotionally? And so then that way you would push the food, the alcohol or the smoke, or even like shopping. People have an addiction to shopping or using their phone as like a dopamine. Then you'd push it away. The same thing. But today we can use. So if you want to choose something, if you're new here and you like to stick with the food, stick with the food. But I mean, today's call, it's recorded. Maybe it's recorded, right? Yeah. So I mean, you can come back and do this with anything. So we're going to be asking 3 questions. I've got my timer here. We're just going to do like 1 minute brain dump of the questions. So if you're doing this for weight, the first question is, if I am thin, you finish this sentence. If I'm thin, I'll never be able to. And then I want you to list all of the things. And this can be, I want you to, like, we're kind of tuning into the subconscious here. So I want, a lot of times we can kind of override that and it's like, oh, that's a silly answer. I shouldn't feel like that. But just write it out and just do it on a brain dump. But if like, so for Cheryl Lamb doing smoking, you could say, if I'm a non-smoker, I'll never be able to. Yeah. If I'm a non-drinker, I'll never be able to. Yeah. Okay. So anyone, any questions before we start with this one? We've got 3 questions. This is the first one. Okay. So 1 minute timer, go. That's a minute there. So just finishing up what you've written. just leave that for the moment. The next question is, what's the downside of, and that would be like the downside of weight loss, or the downside of quitting smoking, the downside of quitting alcohol. Yes. Okay, good. I'll start the timer now. This is 1 minute. Okay. That's a minute there. So just finish up what you're writing now. The third one, which is the same question, but I'm just saying it differently, just so it might trigger something new for you. What's the upside of staying the same? What's the upside of like keeping this behavior, or keeping the weight, keeping smoking, drinking, etc.? Maybe you don't have anything. An example of this would be, I get to say no to things that I don't want to do, or I get to protect myself with this weight. I don't have to change. I don't have to restrict my eating. I can eat what I want, or I won't be attracted to the opposite sex. I won't have to be intimate with my husband. Some examples. All right, that's a minute. Let's just do, I want to do one bonus exercise. What is truly in the way of me reaching this specific goal? What's truly in the way of me losing weight, quitting smoking? Just 1 minute on this. This last 5 seconds here. Good. So you may have found that you repeated something similar. I want you to choose one of the reasons, okay? Or choose one of the things that are in the way of you getting to your goal. But keep this bit of paper if you would like to repeat this exercise over with the other things. If you're unsure of what to pick, you could just choose a couple and then you could rate the intensity of how true that statement is for you, 0 to 10, to find out what you'd like to work with today. Does anyone have any questions? Or how was that exercise for you? Did anything surprise you as you were writing those things down? You can just go ahead and unmute. Yes, Donna, hi. Go ahead and unmute. Press the little microphone button bottom left. If you touch the screen.
Oh, sorry. I thought I had. I apologize. Thank you. When you first asked the question, good evening, by the way, when you first asked the question, if I'm thin, I won't be able to, do you know, for the life of me, I couldn't come up with anything for the longest time. And and it's not like me to pull blanks, like that on topics like that. And then I finally came up with, I won't be able to eat all day long, both good and bad. So but that one, I'm surprised, because I don't see being thin as not being able to do anything. I actually see it as being able to do more than I am doing, which is one of the reasons why I stay the way I am, so I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So that was surprising for me. Very surprising. I'm going to think about that.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, because that's a very honest answer. That's a lot of what people were thinking, but it's on a subconscious level. So it's really great to actually identify that, so we can work with that. And Christy, who's just joined, welcome. We just did a little journaling exercise to figure out what we're working with today. So if you just want to come up, what's the first thing that pops up into your head when I say what's in the way of you achieving your goals, or what's in the way of you, why won't you allow yourself to be at your certain weight, if that's what we're going to use. And then just hold that in your mind, and then we'll work with that today. Anything else anybody would like to share before we get into it? Yes.
Yeah, I found that it was I had more for what's the downside of weight loss. I could go boom, 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 like I had 4 of them. But then like not so much for like, you know, what's the upside of staying the same. There was like 1 for that. So that really surprised me.
Yep. Similar question, right? But have to, you know, ask it a different way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job. Linda. Hi.
Most of the usual things came up for me, except one new one, which was a real kind of surprise. And that was, if I reach my goals, I won't need to connect with this group anymore. And this group has become really important to me, and the people in it. And that was a real surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's a good realization. Maybe we need to get a new in-person group, something that's not associated with weight loss, because that's actually one of the subconscious weight loss blockers also. Like, what will they think? Or I don't want to make them feel bad, you know, having a connection with maybe someone else who's been struggling. If you have like a sister or a spouse or something, that's one of the subconscious weight loss blockers. If you've, you know, complained about your weight, or you're trying the new diet, and if something works for you, think, oh goodness, I'm going to leave that person behind. So that's a real one there. Jennifer, hi.
Hey, I found your bonus question really an intriguing one. I mean, because I certainly had answers for the first 3, but I found, in terms of what's in the way for me, I found, you know, a couple different things came up, and they sort of feel very different. So I don't know which one to sort of pick for the next phase of what you're walking us through. So I'd appreciate your thoughts.
Yeah,
but
so,
you know,
yeah, go ahead and circle like the main ones.
Okay.
And knowing that you know, whatever you choose, you can come back again and do the other ones. And I want you to rate them in like the intensity. So when I say intensity, it's like, how true is this thing? You know, so 0 is not true and 10 the most true. And choose the highest scoring thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can, you know, and you can go back and repeat this exercise as many times as you'd like. Did that make sense to you, Christy? I know you came in a little bit later.
Sorry, I was having trouble with audio, so I caught that you had given questions.
Yes.
But I didn't catch what the questions were.
Yeah, so we spent a minute answering every question. One was like, if I am my ideal weight, I wouldn't be able to. And this is to find out what's in the way of you. And then the last one was also like, what's really in the way of me achieving my ideal weight. Okay. So just even those 2 ones, they're quite powerful. You don't have to go through the whole thing. Usually what's the first thing that pops into somebody's mind, and just have that in mind. And that's what we're going to work with. We're going to do one of the echo tapping to find out where this originated. Okay, so I did this with a student today, and she went back to she talked about the restriction also, and she went back to having like a when she had an eating disorder, and so we worked with that. So that was like, if you think, okay, well, I won't be able to enjoy the food that I like, I'll be hungry all the time. If you had if that was the last time that someone was really their ideal weight or thin, then of course we're going to fear that. Okay. So does everyone have something that they're going to work with today? And try and just stick with that one thing. Another sabotagey behavior is jumping around in like the echoes. Okay. Sometimes it will be very related. You might start with an echo like a 15-year-old and she's going through, and then you think, actually, there was something that happened. It was exactly like this, but when I was 10 or 8. So you would go back to that earlier age. But also don't let that take you out of the moment. So a lot of times where we're standing in the body of that younger version of us, and we're tapping through the points, and then you think, oh, actually, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. It takes away you being in the moment of that little one. And also, if you think of, nobody probably cared about her feelings, or no one, she didn't know how to feel her feelings. So that time that you spend inside her body tapping through the points is really precious and like really needed. So do your best to like stay there in the moment. Okay, so I'll have everyone close down their eyes, and before you start tapping, we're just going to take a few slow, deep breaths. So you can take a deep, deep breath in through your nose and exhale slowly and fully out your mouth. A couple more like that in your own time. Deep inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. Just allow your breath to come back to its natural rhythm. And before you start tapping, I just want you to feel into what you're working with today, okay? So just feel into how that feels in your body. Even expand it, intensify this feeling. We don't have to stay here for that long. And then follow it back in time and just go straight back, 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 back. Back to when you very first felt like this, or whatever wants to show you today. Just go with the first thing that pops into your mind, even if you think you're making it up. Once you get to the age, start tapping through the points. And for those that haven't found an age, I want you we're just going to do it really quickly again. Feel into the thing that you're working with today. Just feel everything and follow it back in time. And just go with the first thing that pops into your mind. Just make it up. Make up an age below 8. And so everyone start walking over to your little one. Freeze anybody else if they're around. tapping through the points. If your little one doesn't instantly recognize you, let her know that you're her from the future and you are here to support her. And if it feels safe to do so, go ahead and stand in the body of that younger one. Once you're in the body of that younger one, just feel everything that she was feeling. If it didn't feel safe to stand inside her body, I want you to hold her hand or ask her if she will sit on your knee. And when you're holding her hand or she's sat on you, you can just feel everything that she's feeling and tap through the points. Everyone tapping through the points, yeah. So at that young age, she didn't have the tools to process what was going on for her, but you right now do. Keep tapping, feeling, breathing. And I want you to speak aloud anything that's going on for you right now. Maybe it's like, this isn't fair. I feel, and speak aloud what you feel. If there was someone that did you wrong, or someone that you would have liked to have more connection with, bring them in. You can freeze them so they can't respond to you, but they can hear you. Tell them how you feel. And tell them how you wish they would have shown up for you. This doesn't mean we're blaming them. It just means that we're just being super honest with them when a lot of times we weren't able to be very honest when we were younger. You can say some I deserve or I don't deserve statements. For example, I don't deserve to be treated like this. I deserve your love. I deserve your attention. I deserve for you to take care of me. And anything else in your own words you'd like them to know. Take a cleansing breath here. And this part we can, if you feel anger arising, keep tapping through the points. If you feel anger arising, I want you to shake it out. Just spend a moment, or whatever emotion, feeling is there, just get it out of your body by shaking, stomping your feet a bit. It might feel weird. seem weird, just let it out. Breathing out, making sounds. Good. Just the last 10 seconds here. Stomping your feet, growling. Good. Good. Continue tapping through the points. Stay in the body of that younger one. Go back there. And this next part's optional if you want to send this person to the healing center. If you don't want to send them to the healing center, you don't have to. If you want to send them to the healing center, just see them go up into healing center in another galaxy and see the world's best healers there waiting for them. And they know exactly what to do. They know exactly what this person needed. Maybe they're going to group therapy. Whatever it is, how they're getting healed, see their whole face change, their body posture change as they realize what's been going on and how their behavior has impacted you. So have them come back down. You're still there in the body of that little one. Have them fully apologize to you. And go ahead and respond to them in any way that you'd like. And see them go off. And so I want you to step out of the body of that little one. And so it's just you, the adult now, with the younger version of you. Everyone's doing really well. Pick up that little younger version, hold her in your arms. Keep tapping and tell her how proud you are of her. Tell her that you love her. You will never leave her. Anything else that you'd like her to know? And take her hand and go to a healing body of water, just maybe somewhere that you've been in real life or somewhere made up. And I want you to enter into this beautiful body of water with your little one and just start floating on top of the water. Keep tapping and take a few slow, deep breaths. And allow this water to cleanse you and her from the top of your head down to your toes. Releasing any residual anger, sadness from your whole body and hers. And replace it now with unconditional love and acceptance. A few slow, deep breaths here. And ask your little one if there's anything else that she needs from you. Go ahead and do that, or give her some reassurance. And now ask her if she wants to come with you and live inside of your heart. If she says no, just give her another hug and say goodbye to her there. But if she wants to come with you, shrink her down, teeny tiny, place her into the center of your chest. And from there, just see and feel her grow through the ages and through the different bodies. Growing, growing, growing all the way until she gets to the age that you are today. Good job. You can stop tapping now and slowly come back. Well done, everybody. If anyone would like to share how that was for them, go ahead, unmute now.
I'll share.
Good. Hi, Sherilyn.
So that was so interesting. I did it on the smoking, and I remember being like really young, like 4 or 5, and my mom, like just going to her bedroom, leaving me in front of the TV, which at the time was all there was soap operas, you know? And I remember watching them and her just like reading in her bedroom, and she locked the door because she'd go into the bathroom and smoke cigarettes. And so I like get that, like the one of the things that I put is you know, like when I get overwhelmed, you know, because that was like really the feeling that I had after my husband passed. Everything was overwhelming. And so just sitting outside and playing my game and smoking cigarettes was like, I didn't have to think about anything. I could, you know, the overwhelm, you know, just like left. And so, emotion coming up, like just imagining like my mom and like what she had to do, and like me seeing that, you know, like, you know, and then being able to process it, because, you know, it's like 4 or 5, you know, how do you process? Like, you know, I just remember being confused about her being in her room, locking the door, you know, and stuff. And so, yeah, it's like, but I thought that was interesting, the connection, because I was like, where did smoking come from? Like, I know my parents smoked, but that's not usually something that you desire, you know, to do. And you know, it's like the taste is awful, you know, it's not like food, you know what I mean? So, you know, and it smells, and it, you know, all these things, because when I was like thinking about this, and it's like, you know, what's the downside of it? It was like, well, there's really not any downside, right? But finding that the downside was like, what will I do with my time, and how will I shut everything off if I don't have my games and my cigarettes, you know? So yeah.
Great realizations. Yeah.
Yeah. And I yawned a lot. So I was like, oh, this is like, I'm like taking this in, that this is working.
Brilliant. Mhm. Good job. Anyone else like to share? Yes, Jennifer.
So it was interesting to me. The thought that I worked with was the question that is sort of blocking me is, what if I fail? And like just the age of 3 came to mind. I have no specific like context, but so I went with it because you were like, well, just make it up, just go with it. And it was interesting to see some of the connections that like it felt like it went from drawing the connection from fear of failure to perfectionism to avoiding criticism, which is something that I know I have that trigger from my dad. Not that he was always overtly critical, but just for whatever reason, there's something about his tone of voice when he is critical that is very triggering for me. And it was a neat process to be able to be there for this 3-year-old me and tell my dad that I'm not responsible for his happiness. But I also acknowledged that this was kind of hard for me because I have my family going on around me. So it was also hard to stay fully focused. So it's like, I know that some of the things that I've heard Brittany talk about and that you were saying, like, just to stay with it. So like, and maybe this isn't the context for me to ask this question, but like, how much is the distraction of having them around or going through the room or whatever, did that like negate all good stuff that happened for me in this time, or was there still something good about what that just was?
Are you asking or yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking.
Yeah. So a lot of times, I mean, when we're doing this work, especially, we can we're like, gosh, there was so many, we start uncovering, especially our subconscious starts to show us like new things that we weren't happy with, and we start to feel all of the feelings, they come rushing back. And that is a common question. And I have had a lot of students come and say, well, I don't have any positive memories from that time, or but then it might be just that we're focusing right on the negative. And it doesn't have to be that it's this whole like skipping along positive like time. It could be like a moment here or there with like getting a treat, or being able to have like a little moment where mum or dad weren't in a bad mood, or they were happy, or it's just like little glimpses. So I just like stick with it. And then I know coming into this program, like we're focused on a lot of these things, and it's like, oh wow, I'm feeling this. And especially doing this sabotage work, when we start to feel some of the anger, that's all we're kind of like we get into that mode, that's all we're like feeling. But there is like, and and being open to it, like just asking that question of you and of your subconscious to show you that, and I'm sure you get shown.
And is it okay that I didn't find myself angry?
Yes, totally. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay,
that doesn't mean that everyone's suppressing anger. A lot of times we have these other code words for anger, like frustration, impatience, agitation, overwhelm. That can be other code words for anger. And coming through this program, I for myself, I was like, I don't have any anger. I'm not angry. I'm a nice person. And then I was like, whoa, like then I started to allow myself to feel every single emotion. And then I'm like, there it is. And then because I was very afraid of anger. A lot of people were like, okay, it's not safe to be angry. No one teaches you that you can express anger in a healthy way. And a lot of times our authority figures, they might be feeling angry, but then they'll go and drink, or they'll go and like Cheryl Ann's mum will lock herself in the bathroom where she'd smoke. And so we have these behaviors that are modeled to us, like, oh, I'm feeling something, so I better push it down, or I better go and eat. So just like be open to also, if I need to get a bit angry, then I can, you know, I'm not saying that you're not like you're shutting it away, but that may be later in the course, or because that's the sabotage module is later in the course anyway, for that kind of reason, because it if we had it right in the start, I think things get like, whoa, it's just too much, too intense.
Okay.
Yeah. And everything, I mean, every sort of emotion that you're feeling, anything, it's so perfect for right now. Yeah. And then other ones, like, yeah, so whatever it comes up for you is perfect. It's supposed to come up for you right now. Yeah, good. Great. Any other questions or comments? You don't have to share every little thing. You can say a little thing or.
I had kind of an odd experience. So I was thinking about, you know, what do I fear, or you know, what's kind of holding me back, and thought about family acceptance. And I was thinking about my sisters, but then when you said, okay, what age are you? Like, I was back at like 5 or 6, and I was sitting at the dinner table and not wanting to eat, and of course being forced to eat. You know, I was punished if I didn't eat, and just really struggling with that feeling of it wasn't acceptable not to eat even though I wasn't hungry. And it was just a very odd thing that came up, that it wasn't about the weight, it was about the food itself and the emotions around the food. And you know, in particular, you know, that feeling around my mother of, you know, if I didn't eat it, she was going to eat it, and she didn't need to eat it because she was already overweight, and kind of recognizing that she had put a lot of her body images on me, and was very conscious about me gaining weight. At the same time, she was forcing me to eat, and just really struggled through some of those emotions, and reminding myself it was okay, that, you know, I didn't need to eat to be accepted, and I didn't need to lose weight to be accepted either. So just kind of working through those emotions that all of that came up, and reassuring myself that it was okay, whatever I decided to do, that I was loved.
Exactly. Yeah. Beautiful. Good job. Good job. Anyone else like to share?
Yeah,
Rosa.
I just don't want to cry.
That's all right. Tears are welcome here. Go for it.
So yeah, that was very interesting. So when you when you said for the like what's truly in the way of me losing weight, and I thought about it, I wrote like probably because at the end of the day I like to have like a couple glasses of alcohol with my husband when he comes home from work. And I know, like, consciously, you know, alcohol's not good when you want to lose weight. So, but I'm like, I really enjoy just that, like, unwinding. Yeah, but so then when I went back, and like my mum and dad pretty much used to just always do that as well. And so then like that younger child of me was like, yeah, just a bit upset with my dad, because it was like, I know like he still works. Gosh, he's like nearly 70 and he's still a concreter because he has to. So it's not that he didn't want to be around, but he just was always working. And yeah, so then like that was just really that connection. I didn't know that was there. Yeah, sorry. It's just very like when you don't know something's there and then it comes up, it's like, and then you've given that little child that voice to finally just say like, I needed you, Dad. Like, I understand, and I understood then. But yeah, there was just a part of me that just like wanted something I didn't get. And it's not like a lot of blame and shame there, because I totally love him, and I know, like, yeah, that he had no choice, and he was trying to provide for his family, and all of that. But yeah, it was just nice to have that. And then when we floated in the water, like that, then my little child was fine because she did understand. And yeah, so I'm fine. It's just the tears are just like residual tears from like when I was speaking, like, because that emotion. So it was very, very powerful.
Good. The tears are so welcome here. It's really, I mean, the fact, just so celebrate every tear, really.
Yeah, it's like a release, isn't it? It's like, yeah, you're releasing that emotion. And so now when you go back to like like have a drink tonight with my husband, that drink's not going to be the same like last night, because it's going to be like, oh wow, I have a whole different reality of like what we're doing here now. Yeah, good. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Great, really great realizations. And so you've got, you'll have the recording for this, but so we did the echo tapping today, which is the same like what you do when you're doing push the food away for the emotional eating. But the reason why you're pushing the food away is to trigger you, okay? But if you already know what the trigger is, you can just feel into that. You feel into the trigger and you follow that trigger back in time, okay? So you've all got you'll get the recording, so you can do this for other things. And you can also use those journal prompts, and if anything, if you felt like you were still if you're still writing at the end of that 1 minute, go for longer. Do like 3 minutes, or even the 3-page exercise. Get it all out, and you can even tap on that. That could be like your script. Does anyone, any like last shares before we wrap up today? Or any questions? It can be about today's session, or the course, or anyone would like any direction.
Can I ask another newbie question?
Yes, no, or ask away.
So, like, there's just a lot of information between the 6-week tapping course and all the stuff in the tapping circle thing, and like, any tips for how to consume it without feeling completely overwhelmed with all of it, and have this be the only thing I ever watch all day, every day?
Right.
Like, any
tips? So do you have a coach?
No, I just have the 6-week program and the tapping circle at this time.
So you can do it like a mixture of like all of the tapping circle. There's 4 of them. Okay. So the cravings, emotional eating, sabotage, and then the body boundary violation. So you could do one a week for a month. Then you can also, if you have extra time on your hands, if you haven't gotten through all of your cravings list, start just do the recording for the cravings. So write a list of everything that you crave, and this list you'll probably add to over time. And then just start chipping away at that, and then get to the point where you're pushing the food away. Like you could do that every 50% of the time that you're eating emotionally. So that's a big. I mean, that's a really big ask. If you do that, you'd be doing that like, I don't know how often you eat emotionally, but that's a lot. Like 50% of the time is a lot of the time. And you start getting. It depends on what you're after in that tapping, like how much energy you have when you want to go and tap. So if you think, oh, I've got an hour, I can get right into it. Maybe I'll do the emotional eating. Or if you're like, I've got a half an hour before I have to get off to the next thing I need to do. Maybe I'll just do a couple of the cravings. Yeah.
Okay.
And then this, like the exercise that we did today, this is a really good idea of like, what to focus on. So you could focus on those things. So I usually tell the students just to focus on the cravings and emotional eating to start with. Yeah, which is a lot.
Okay.
I mean, it's a lot. And
Yeah.
you've got recordings from previous tapping circles, right?
Yeah. There's a lot to choose from.
There is a
So.
lot. So you could just even
Which is great.
Yeah.
And I got to figure out how to not go insane.
Yes. So, I mean, yeah. So I just do
Okay.
the 2 first, because I find then, then you can start doing more of the sabotage. And some of the sabotage ones, they're not as intense. So some other coaches might do like a script. Like I might do a script every now and again just to go, okay. Or I might do like a journaling exercise every now and again, which is like a little, it's not as intense as
Yeah.
a little bit more mild as on the scale of healing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
But I
appreciate
think
it.
you're doing well. So great for coming on the call, asking questions. It's great.
Thanks.
Yeah. Excellent. Well done, everybody. If you have any questions, also ask them in the Tapping Circle Facebook group. Mm-hmm. Great. All right. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you.